Do you ever think about the type of extraordinary life you could be living if you had the ability to follow through with everything you ever started, to focus and finish every plan, every dream you ever came up with? I mean, if you had that kind of discipline, imagine what you could achieve. I find that thought thrilling. It blows my mind and motivates me and scares me at the same time, because I think, gosh, what am I doing? Am I wasting time? What am I doing here? I could be out there making all these things happen, and I'm just sitting around, scrolling things on my phone, like a lot of us, right? It could be getting your ideal body through disciplined exercise, starting your own company, creating a wildly successful YouTube channel, writing a book, moving to your dream country, learning a foreign language, learning an instrument, recording an album, making an award-winning feature film, creating your dream home and starting a family, opening a restaurant, creating a humanitarian foundation that has an impact on the world. There are so many paths we could take, and people talk about trying to find what your passion is. The hardest part is not finding your passion, what makes you happy. The hardest part is the execution, is sticking with it, is seeing something through to the end, even when times get tough. And that is what I want to talk about today. So welcome to another episode of Touch the Sky, where I help you reach your full potential. And this week, I'm going to be talking about what has been for me one of my greatest challenges: how to conquer procrastination. Most of us don't want to admit it, but we are often the greatest barrier between where we are and where we want to be. It's us. We want to blame everything else, everyone else. I've done this myself. And say, gosh, I'm doing everything right, but all of these things are determining my fate. Of course, there are contributing factors, but there is nothing in your life that has more power to determine your fate than your mind. Nothing. So many of us are just floating down this stream like a piece of driftwood, passive, with no control over our direction, the speed with which we're traveling. We're just content to be washed along. And when you realize that you can take control of your mind, it is like realizing that, hang on, this isn't just a piece of driftwood. I'm actually a boat with a rudder and a keel and sails, and I could be steering this thing. And instead of just having the waves wash over me, I could be using those waves to propel myself forward and to go in a direction that I am choosing. Understanding this and mastering it gives you an advantage in life that is unparalleled. This realization is exciting, but how do you get there? Okay, how do you make that happen? I am glad that you asked. I know you want actionable steps. I'm going to give them to you. When I choose to have my mind work for me instead of against me, I have run companies, I have moved to foreign countries, learned languages, produced TV shows. When it works against me, I have wasted entire days. There is nothing more precious than time. And if you can manage to be honest with yourself, and it is hard, I know, but if you can examine the relationship you have with time, how you use it, how you procrastinate, how you justify things to yourself, then you can stop wasting years of your life and start achieving everything that you've ever dreamed of. And I know that sounds a little bit corny, but don't worry. That is why I've created 5 actionable things which you can implement into your day when you're working on your dream. They're things that have helped me, and I hope that maybe they might be able to help you too. Usually it happens like this. You're kind of inspired or motivated by something, or you wake up in the morning and you're feeling like, yeah, you know what, you can do something, you can make a change in your life, and you've got a free hour ahead of you, or maybe a whole weekend, and you think, right, I'm gonna take some action. I'm gonna move this project forward. But then something happens over the course of the day or over years, and you don't end up producing as much as you could. You don't end up taking that project or that idea to its full potential. And I think it's not any one big thing. I think it's actually a lot of little things that can happen when we are left to our own devices. And if we can heighten our awareness of these things, of these little barriers that we let happen, then that is the key to really being productive. Number 1, you cannot trust yourself with your phone. A study last year by researcher D-Scout found that the average person touches their phone 2,617 times per day. The heavier addicts go up to 5,427 times per day. Very few of us can resist that little hit of instant gratification from checking social media or refreshing our email inbox. It can seem harmless and you think, hey, I deserve a little break, I'm just going to scroll through social media. But when you've got that momentum, don't mess with it. Don't let other influences come in because we are so easily demotivated. All you have to do is see like someone who you think has the perfect lifestyle or the perfect body, and all of a sudden all that doubt creeps in. Just seeing all that on a subconscious level can demotivate you. You need to be focused in this time just on you and not comparing yourself to others. The number of times I've just looked through and just thought, I'm never going to get there. Look where they are. I'm never going to be there. And that is so detrimental. You need to just hang on to that momentum and harness it and use it. Put your phone in another room. It may seem silly and you think, I don't need to do that, I'm an adult. Yeah, you do, okay? You don't need to put it on silent because that way, look, if it's really important, someone will call you and you can hear it. But you don't need the notifications, the emails, the messages. All those things are not urgent. In the beginning, when we're trying to break a bad habit and create lifestyle changes, our willpower is not that strong. So give yourself a fighting chance and take out that huge distraction, which is your phone, okay? Because you want to create this bubble of productivity, and that bubble is quite delicate. So any little interruption, you're going to take it because you want an excuse to not work. We are all fundamentally quite lazy, and we're just waiting for something to interrupt us so that we can justify not looking at the task at hand. Number 2, you're not lazy, you're just running without fuel. Sugar is everywhere, and I know we're kind of sick of people saying that, but the truth is that crushing depression, that feeling I'm never gonna make it, I'm fat, I'm not talented, I'm not as good as those people, I can't change my situation. These feelings are often just because we've eaten something an hour ago that gave us that sugar spike and has now just dropped us down into the depths of despair. It's actually good news when you think about it, because then what you're feeling in that moment is not a true reflection of your life or your attitude or your abilities. It's actually just a chemical imbalance. Not only do we need to avoid sugar, which you can find in white bread and yogurt and most cereals, including muesli, we also need to give our brain power to concentrate. My sister has 2 degrees, one in nutrition and one in psychology, and she's always telling me, Kylie, you cannot start your day without protein and then expect your brain to be able to sustain acute focus for hours. It just won't work. And speaking of food, number 3, you don't need a snack, you're just stalling. This is something I really struggle with because I love cooking, so it's very easy for me to justify to myself, no, you're taking a moment to nurture yourself and do something creative, and I'm cooking things that are healthy, so I'm thinking, it's not bad for me. But if I'm truly honest with myself, I always think, you need a snack. I always go and stand in front of the fridge just mindlessly, like scanning for something to nibble on, when I have come up against a part of the project that I don't like or that is super challenging and I don't have a solution for it. Set a time for meals and then stick to those times like you were back in school. Stop taking these little breaks. You're not hungry. You've just come up against something which is hard work, and we don't like hard work, and we have this memory of, the last time I was having a snack, I was really happy, and so subconsciously we want that pleasure. But you've got to face the stuff that is hard, because if you don't overcome the parts of your project that are not nice to do, that are a little bit more difficult, you're never going to take that project to the next level. And every time you resist that temptation to get up and walk away and be distracted, you are sending your brain the message that problems can come, and your brain doesn't have to send you all that doubt and all that wall that comes down. So it is like this wonderful muscle that you are training to work with you as opposed to against you. Number 4, don't hide your progress. One of the patterns a lot of us fall into, and I'm guilty of this too, is we're tracking our progress, but it's hidden away. Okay, so you're writing down in your diary what your dream is and your plan is, and then you close your diary, put it in a shelf. Okay, or perhaps you've got an app to monitor how often you're exercising, but that's an app that's in a certain part of your phone. If you don't go into it, you don't have to see it. You need to bring your progress front and center and face it every day. We have this very warped sense of how long we've actually been engaged in an activity. We don't even realize we're lying to ourselves. We tell ourselves, oh, I was doing that for hours, and actually it was only 20 minutes. Unless you're tracking yourself honestly and looking at the exact time frame, when did I sit down? When did I step away from the computer? How much did I achieve? What were my goals for today? Until you can really address all that and write it out, then you're just setting yourself up for exasperation, because you will think that you have been working so well and so effectively, and then when you don't get the results that you desire, you'll say, I can't be bothered, this is not working, I've failed. You haven't failed, you just haven't been working effectively. And the sooner that you can isolate where you're wasting time and how you're actually not being truly productive, the faster you can truly see results, and you're not just going to get to the end of the month or the end of the year and think, I put in all that effort, and where is the dream? Why has it not happened? They say that it takes 66 days, or about 2 months, for a new neurological pathway to be established in your brain and to break one habit and develop another, right? So what we all do, I think, is after doing something for a number of weeks, we sit there exasperated and we're like, this isn't working. Why am I even bothering? I'm not seeing any results. I'm a failure. I give up. It is such a shame, because you never know when you're just about to make that breakthrough or turn a corner, and then you gave up because you couldn't see that anything was happening, anything was changing. I like to make a calendar and then stick it up somewhere that you're going to see every day, like in your bedroom, in your bathroom, so that while you're brushing your teeth, you're looking at that, and it is that visual reminder that, you know what, wow, look at it. You've done something for 5 days in a row. Now you've done it for 2 weeks in a row. And this, on a subliminal level, is giving you that reinforcement. Maybe it's not positive. Maybe you're looking at that calendar as you're brushing your teeth in the morning, you're thinking, oh gosh, I had the intention to work out 5 times this week, and look, I've only actually worked out once. That's fine, because at least that is giving you the truth, and you're not sitting there feeling really down on yourself saying, I don't know why this is not working. I don't know why my body's not changing. I'm working really hard. You can see these are the facts. You know then, okay, you know what? I have the ability to change my body. I'm just not investing enough time in this. And there is the proof on that calendar with the actual day that I've actually worked out. And the final one, create the route, not just the destination. What do I mean by this? Look, a lot of us think, we're so focused on the end goal, where we want to be, what we want to achieve, what we want to attract into our life, right? There is nothing that is going to demotivate you more than ambiguity, than just some vague kind of optimism, like, hey, yeah, it's gonna happen because I know I want it. It's not enough to know what you want or where you want to be. You really have to isolate how are you going to get there on a monthly basis, on a weekly basis, on a daily basis. Because if you don't have that structure around you, of course you're flailing, of course you're feeling despondent and like, it's all too much. When you get really specific and detailed about what you need to do in order to get there, that gives you this freedom. You feel suddenly relaxed because you're like, you know what? I've worked it out. I've made this roadmap, and all I need to do now is follow it. I hope some of this was useful. Leave me a comment below and let me know about your experience with procrastination and what you do to stay on track. I hope you have a beautiful week and that you achieve everything you set out to do, and I will see you next week. And I will just keep smiling here because I need for like the subscribe thing to come up in the next videos and everything, and it's kind of a bit awkward, but whatever. Subscribe, yay! Watch more videos, but don't procrastinate, but watch more videos.